Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of today. This one is going to be focused on the release notes for 27.1. There's going to be some good things, there's going to be some stuff that we already know isn't exactly ideal, but let's go over what is going to be dropping in next month with these two characters here, with first of all Tiger and then following up with Hitmonkey. Full abilities will be on the forum as well as information discussed today in this video, so go and check out the forums and as well just kind of listen on through as we give a hot take and talk about what's coming in June. Now, if you are interested in the origins as well as information about these two characters being added into game because they're kind of obscure, then go to the links in the description down below for two videos that I made on. For those interested in the story aspect, it looks like these two characters are in prison for some reason. They break out and as well they're going to find out who from the shadows is enabling them to be captive. It may be MODOK, who really knows. Also, for those interested in the abilities of these two characters, go and check out the links in the description or go over to the forum where there'll be a spotlight on both characters. I will be doing separate videos on these as well. Now, it looks like the side event from this quest takes a nod from the past, where it talks about the hotel MODOK, and in fact things with MODOK Labs to a degree, and it's all working in together. The event itself seems to be different from MODOK Labs in that you collect samples from a special login calendar. You then go and do these MODOK quests, which are having a class gating system, so to speak, but you get to choose it. And as well, it comes up with a randomizer whenever you go and face off against something similar to MODOK Labs. You then defeat the champions, you defeat it in general, and therefore you get gold coins, and gold coins get to be spent in a special MODOK gift shop. So you could really say it's MODOK Labs meets the Intel store. Oh look, there's Brian Grant. Doesn't he look lovely? Now, hopefully I can get an answer whether or not these randomizers here, which were from the Labs, MODOK Labs based event of the past, would they be still applicable now for the usage of this? Because it's going to be a buff deleter, which is going to be great. But at times when one was to do the MODOK Labs event and the randomizers, sometimes they weren't as fair as maybe we'd want. So whether or not you can randomize with the randomizer, and maybe it's a case that the buff deleter can be around a little bit more regularly in order to say, right, well, at least when I'm going into the epic, I'm not seeing a trollish buff, which is going to mean that going up against an enemy is going to be very unpleasant. So that's something I hope is sorted out. But as well, if it's class system gating, then surely you can just say, right, well, I'll bring my strongest champions and go down one class route, and obviously that does it. I'm not quite sure about the exploration, but I don't think there will be that. Maybe you get the choice, you complete, and that's it, and it's absolutely fine. But we'll find out more in the coming week. Next up, and Dr. MODOK's class use solo event. With this, I think it is very important to get more info, and that's something that hopefully Kabam delivers when it comes to rewards breakdown for the solo event. Now, Kabam do say here that this is all about this being an opportunity to pick up more gold coins by grinding out using the champion of the day and as well maybe the class of the day. So say, for whatever reason, the champion of the day is to utilize a Corvus Glaive, and then for whatever reason is a cosmic path you can go down, so therefore you can obviously double up with what you get. Also, there may be other opportunities to earn points in different ways, like doing arena, doing event questing, those kind of things. But the question is, with rank rewards not being there, and I love rank rewards with solo events, I think it's a nice kind of like element for grind and gets people interested in that. There is an opportunity to hopefully, with a 22-hour event, which this might be, or 24-hour, who really knows, that we could see another opportunity to pick up units and as well revives. Potentially, but we need that extra info from Kabam, and hopefully that will be there in the coming week. Now, I couldn't find it to put in the video, but I wanted to find other examples of when they have done that, done a separate 22-hour event, and whether or not this will be something like, I believe, the Valor. When Valor was around about the time of the cinematic release of Thor Ragnarok, which I believe was in a November, I can't remember what year, whether or not it was 2017, 2018, or when it was. The fact is, they put in something like that, so whether or not they'll put in something this time would be great to have that opportunity to get more. But there is some positives to that, and there is actually more opportunities to pick up things like more revives and health potions in order to do other content, which we'll have a look at now. First of all, starting off with MODOK contracts. This is something of a 13 special objectives, which looks like it's similar to what they've put in this month, which is a bit weird, but at the same time, I guess is acceptable enough. but this gives you an opportunity to pick up more gold coins. To say it could be a case, again, similar to how it is at the moment, that a special objective says, hey, go and knock out MODOK. So you then go and knock out MODOK. And whether or not this will be the similar way the social media accounts for MCOC True Cost will be putting out things like info on these characters, or other people will be putting dual targets up, it's really hard to say. Or will this actually factor into the same way with this? Or will it be similar to how they had with Baron's War, where you went out and then defeated certain enemies that were on the list? Which, if a lot of you know, if you follow the channel, you know I've did some kind of like videos on this. So obviously I'll try and make sure I keep you all well informed when I'm indeed doing stuff like this, depending obviously on what Kabam deliver when it comes to next week. And one of the crucial bits of information, which first of all is in yellow, but I've highlighted the last point in red, is based on the spend. And this is a thing that interests me a lot, because it seems to be a first that Kabam have done something like this. In that in the store, it says you're able to get up rank up materials with the gold coins, spend your gold coins and rank up materials like catalysts, items to help you take tough content like potions and revives, or items to empower your champions like awakening gems or signature stones. I've been trying to think back to when there's been stores added in, like the Infinity Dust store, the Intel store, the Valor store, and any other store. I can't remember any time that Kabam have added in things like the opportunity to pick up revives and health potions. Obviously it's great news to see that we can allow ourselves to get an awakening gem. Obviously the big takeaway from this is the spend and how the spending breaks down, because you could be saying like, right, well, if I'm able to grind out for X amount of time, but obviously I'm an uncollected person, and then there's people that are cavalier, what's going to be the difference of what people are able to pick up? And at the same time, it does give a good opportunity to say like, well, I want to have revives and health potions based on the future changes Kabam might be making. By the way, it's probably going to be, as Kabam has said in the forums, that, you know, it's the early week of June, the early part of June, maybe it's the first week of June, that they'll actually answer the full minutiae of the general feedback. So whether or not there's stuff on there which they said they're going to be changing Act 6, whether or not you hold on to those health potions and those revives for later on when they change the content, so you're prepared against it. This could be a good opportunity for players to grab some of these key resources. And also obviously Awakening Gem, second month in a row that we've been given the opportunity. Yes, Chronometer is the only way of getting it. Yes, people have been lucky with those rifts, but still this seems to be somewhat positive for an addition, and weird that it's the first ever time that they've put in a store that allows you to get revives and health potions essentially for free, apart from the grind of the gold coins. But you get my drift of what I'm talking about here. The two remaining things to talk about are Alliance related. Obviously no more cost for map 5, which is excellent news, and the controversial addition of Alliance tickets. Now this is something still that is being further discussed. If you go to the forums, there is an active chat on this one, and the fact is there's a lot of things that it doesn't take into consideration. It will be a case that there'll be, I think, a couple of cycles of Alliance Quest where it will be free, which will be good until this is properly introduced. But it could be a case that there should be more talk about this, and I think that based on the forum interaction which is currently going on in the active forum post, that things might obviously change in the future, but we'll have to wait and see on that. There's also a large amount of bug fixes ranging in different areas, from Wolverine Weapon X right the way through Howard the Duck, which you can see on screen at the moment, as well as many synergy improvements and fixes. There's a little fix to Mr. Fantastic's heavy attack, and there's no mention of Morningstar, so if you are looking to take Morningstar against the champion, but also do bear in mind that that could be a fixed fight in the future, then it's something to bear in mind and get that done if you are really keen to do it now. There we go, that has been the video all about what's coming on next month, and as well the information about some of this stuff like MODOK related. I really hope that there's no kind of like overly tricky kind of like stinky buffs when it comes to using the randomizer, because I've had this before where I've randomized some buffs and I've got like some terrible stuff I'm going up against. But if there's into-y things like the bleed vulnerability, poison vulnerability, dash vulnerability, and maybe some other kind of vulnerabilities, then it does mean that it speaks towards the player's advantage, and it just kind of means for a sort of challenging fight, but at the same time it seems that it's fair at the same time. The buff deleter as well, I want to find out how much the cost is that, as well as so many other things as well, like the solo event, and whether or not there's an opportunity to pick up more extra stuff like revives and then another health potion. and as well the units as well from the standard solo events, but as well how these special objectives factor in, and are they similar to Baron's War as opposed to this month with the target ops as well. Those are key questions still yet to be answered, but I'm sure this will be all on the forums later on today, if not in the coming weeks or coming week, and I'll let you know obviously in Marvel Contest Champions news. And finally, we'll probably wait until the first week of June, which will probably be next week. Fingers crossed that we get an answer against that general feedback. So hopefully we get to find out where the game is going and how much, obviously, this is being listened to. But we'll have to see what happens with that. And thanks for watching this video. Check out some other content here. Check out some other content over there. And I'll see you in the live stream tonight on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. I'll be doing a little bit of MCOC and a little bit of Call of Duty Warzone as I normally do. So see you then. Bye bye for now.